So I'd have energy issues from just not eating enough calories. And so I started doing research. I learned about, like, at the time, a ketogenic approach. And in theory, it was telling me that I would, train myself to become fat adapted. And if I was fat adapted, theoretically, that would fix my energy issues because I'd be more efficient at burning fat for fuel. And our bodies, just like biologically, we have way more fat storage than we can handle, like glucose, glycogen. And so it looked like it would fix my energy issues. And then two, theoretically, I wouldn't have to eat as much because I was fat adapted. And so that might help my stomach issues. And so when I started, like, I went full on keto, I noticed there was obviously an adaptation period, like, for people who are so reliant on carbohydrates, once you cut those carbohydrates out, like, you feel like death for a little bit. And so I did have energy issues at first, but I had the confidence that it would resolve itself, and it eventually did. And I had more consistent energy. I started eating less, and started having less stomach issues. I started losing that weight that I was gaining. And so at first, like, I was pretty, aside from like the cheat, like after every race, I would cheat for like a week and just like pump my body full of junk. And aside from that, though, I was strict keto. To today, though, it's transitioned to low carb. Like, my alias is not the ketogenic runner, it's not the carnivore runner, it's the low carb runner. And so, I've transitioned from getting like 30 to 50 grams of carbohydrates a day to getting about 150 or so grams a day consistently. Like, right now, you've seen me spoonful feeding myself some food right now, and it's a bowl of berries, cherries, banana, mango with some heavy cream and pure maple syrup on it. So, this bowl probably has about 70 or 80 grams of carbohydrates in it, which is by far not ketogenic. um, but 150 grams of carbohydrates in a day is significantly lower than like a standard American diet. Like, there's a lot of people who are getting 500 to 600 grams of carbohydrates in a day. And so for me, like, it's transitioned to like just a lot more whole foods. Like, the ketogenic diet, as good as it is for cleanses and losing weight, like, I do think it's turning into too much of like a dirty keto. Like, people are still eating a bunch of processed junk on the keto diet. It just has like different natural sweeteners in it versus sugar, or they're pumping it full of fiber so they can like advertise it as a low net carb. So I do think people can fall into the trap of just like still eating a bunch of processed junk on the ketogenic diet. But, for me every day now, like, I eat a bunch of red meat, I eat a bunch of eggs, and a bunch of raw milk, and then a bunch of fruit. So, it's definitely a lot more whole foods approach now. But and from what I've seen, it hasn't affected my ability to burn fat for fuel. Like, I'll track my glucose with CGM monitors, I'll track my ketones, and then just track my energy and my ability to do intermittent fasting, for example. And it doesn't seem like anything's changed since upping my carbs. The only thing that's changed really is I just have more energy because I'm still getting a better amount of carbohydrates.